Albuquerque approach, good evening, Skyhawk 53176. We're 16 miles west of the auto VOR request. ASR approach in Albuquerque. Information Lima.
Skyhawk 53176, Albuquerque approach, Fox 2670.
2670. I better call you if I need anything.
53176, radar contact, maintain VFR, Albuquerque altimeter 2986.
2986, Skyhawk 53176.
Skyhawk 921 Victor November, turn left heading 260, speed vectors for surveillance approach. Skyhawk 53176, turn left heading 200, vector.
Left 200, Skyhawk 176. Here we go. Albuquerque approach, Skyhawk 53176. We're going to make this first one a gyro approach.
Skyhawk 53176, Roger, understand that. I'll put that down here. You're going to be number 2, is another aircraft kind of performance ground approach just before you here, so you'll expect probably maybe no delay depending on how things work out here.
Alright, roger that, Skyhawk 53176.
Skyhawk 176, and just to confirm for your first approach, you'd like the no-gyro approach?
Negative. We want the gyro approach for the first one, Skyhawk 53176.
Skyhawk 176, roger.
That looks like we probably need a little boost there.
Skyhawk 1 Victor November, turn left heading 220. 220 will be it.
I just saw your picture, Brad, and that's awesome. Have a good one below. Normal approach is the default. Okay. All right. Oh man, I'm excited for this. It's hard for me to explain it, to re-explain it. I obviously, Brad, who is my CFII in the chat, we went over this last night. It's not a complicated approach. That's kind of the benefit of this. Is I've heard it described as a get-out-of-jail-free card. Just like progressive taxiing, where for whatever reason you can't get to a plate or have some issue and you need help, if this is available, this will get you down to the airport without really much forethought. It's also, if you, in the worst case nightmare scenario of electrical and suction going. And that's kind of where I've heard it referred to as the
November 921 Victor November.
Get out of jail free card. So there's not much to prep or talk about. it's the controller walking you down to minimums.
November, Roger, and
you can go gyro or no gyro. So gyro means that we've got our directional gyro, we've got our attitude indicator, to help us out to fly this approach in IMC conditions or under the hood. Why would you want this approach? Just another option? Yeah, so that's kind of what I was getting at is Adam1121, thank you for the follow, welcome. The reason that this approach exists is for military planes, essentially. It's probably a little bit deeper than that, but a lot of military planes, Navy planes, don't have equipment to shoot ILS approaches or RNAV approaches.
Skyhawk 53176, turn 15 degrees right.
15 right, Skyhawk 176. So this approach is basically for those military guys that don't have the proper equipment that civilian aircraft do, and that might find themselves flying into a civilian airport in IMC conditions. And the reason why general aviation pilots would use it is for practice. Bonst, welcome aboard. Thank you for following. The reason that general aviation pilots would use it is although it's an incredibly rare type of approach, it's something that is available to you if, like I said, electrical equipment fails, gyro suction fails, and you've got to get down here in IMC. It's a nightmare scenario. It's super rare, but just, in the area that I fly, let's say I'm flying around, the marine layer came in, there's overcast everywhere, and I have electrical failure, I'm running off the battery, and the vacuum pump fails. So now I am IMC conditions, and I'm totally screwed. What do? Call up Seal Beach, call up March, call up, you got 30 minutes of battery time for avionics and radio. You can make that very rare, and hopefully a call that you never have to make. But you can make that call having this ability. The facilities that do have the ability to do a radar approach are more than happy to give IFR students, or just general aviation students in general, a practice radar approach, is because they don't get to do it that often, and it comes with specific certifications, just like our currency for taking passengers. We need three landings within 90 days to carry passengers, or night currency or anything like that. They have currency as well. So in order to maintain their currency, they need planes coming in on these approaches. So they will definitely let you do it. Don't get me ranting about ICLS and Titanic. A regular pilot might use it during an emergency. The only thing you would need to fly is a working radio. Yeah. So it is incredibly useful, but very rare. And it's one of those things that it's rare and kind of tough to find. Frankly, there's some airports down here where, if you get actual IMC conditions down here, like everybody in SoCal goes to Palomar, for example. I know, because they've got particular approaches that are unique to them, for an example. So it's a unique approach that you actually have to know who's got it. And because it doesn't have an approach plate, it might not be that easy to identify right off the bat on who's got that approach or not. But because of all that, it's very likely that you're not going to practice it, and when it does come time to maybe need it in the, you know, super rare opportunity to have to do it, you know, you might not know it exists, or you might not know how to actually request it or manage it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all the lead up to this that I can think of that we went over. Our heading looks good here. Just kind of go through what we're looking at. 210, 210. I know it's 215 is really what it should be. So I think it's just trying to fight the winds right now, because the winds are coming out of the west. Yeah, Chris, and I just went down this rabbit hole in the last couple days, so I'm by no means an authority on this at all. Brad is, and you know, so if you do have questions on this, you know, a CFII is really the person to talk to about this. And even then, you know, and Brad, you could probably chime in with this. You know, how many CFIIs really are proficient at this, know it, or, you know, is this something that is so rare that it's really kind of case by case, and, you know, you could be a CFII and have never done this or really know much about it. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. A little too lean. I'm gonna put in. Let's see if there's something I can throw in here for the backup radio. ILS runway.
53176, sliding 220, descend and maintain 900,000. These will be vectors for a surveillance approach to runway 3.
Right 220 down to 9,000, Skyhawk 53176. Uh, 115, or sorry, 111. That's the ILS. Course is 034. So we'll have that in there just for fun. Not many instrument pilots, much less instructors, have ever done a surveillance approach. I'm lucky to have done as many as I have. And in this case, even, you know, having done versus knowing what it is are even distinctions that should be made. Fortunately, in a lot of situations, there are a number of things that you know, you won't have ever had to actually do, but at least need a working knowledge of. This is not one of those things. I don't think. At least it doesn't seem like it is. Okay, so there's nothing.
Remember, taxi straight into the ramp for maintenance frequency. Have a good night. No problem. Appreciate it. See you later.
I just pulled up the ILS for runway 3. Look at this beast. Holy cow. That's fun. What are the biggest differences from the sim and actually flying for you? Davis, that's a huge question. The biggest differences between the real world and the sim is just the sensation of it. The handling the plane is something that I don't really focus on in the simulator at all. It's fun from like a video game perspective to, like the landing rate plug-in to get a butter, have a good landing rate. So from that perspective, I try to have nice landings, but the actual controlling of the airplane, whether it's on the ground or in the air, I don't bother with at all because it's so disconnected from the actual plane. As long as you're focusing, and if you're doing both. If you're just flying in the sim, yeah, there's nothing wrong with being as precise as possible. It's just nothing like the actual plane, regardless of what setup it is. I'm sure, having the honeycomb yoke is, better than what I have for flying more precisely, but the sensation of it, the back pressure, the feel of the controls, nothing like the real plane. So as long as you know that, put it on autopilot, let the plane fly itself straight and level, and just like focus on the things that the simulator does do really, really well. And that's replicate the visual of, the approach. I mean, this is what it looks like being at 9,000 feet south of Albuquerque coming in for an approach. That's what it looks like. So if you're doing this in the real world, you look out your left window, you'll say, okay, cool, yeah, we've got the upsloping basin, we've got the mountains in the background, we've got this lowland here, so you can put yourself in that situation. And the radio calls, the navigation. Are you working on dead reckoning? You're flying the same speeds. Get a timer out if that's what you're working on. If you're working on doing transitions through Bravo airspace, you can do that on PilotEdge or Vatson. So there's a ton of stuff that is nearly identical to the real world in the sim. Handling the actual feeling of the plane is nothing. Is not even close. You feel the forces in 3D in real life. It's way more difficult. I don't know. See, I think the actual handling the plane is easier in real life than it is in the sim because you don't have the disconnect of the forces. Part of that again comes down to what controls you have. I mean, like this little thing, I'm not flying IFR with this. This is spring loaded, and it's just cheap plastic crap essentially. It's worked fine, more than fine for 2.5 years for me, which is amazing. You transitioned from sim to real life, correct? Yeah, kind of. It was kind of like the simulator. It did not take very long. It was like maybe a couple of months.
Number 53176, turn right, heading 280. Your missed approach point will be the runway threshold. Minimum descent altitude is 5700.
Right heading 280. Our missed approach point will be runway threshold, and MDA is 5700. Skyhawk 53176. What was I saying?
53176, change to my frequency on 126.3.
126.3, 176. Okay, so I'm gonna go sterile here, but yeah, the simulator got me into flying in the real world very quickly, so I kind of did them both in parallel. Albuquerque, final approach, Skyhawk 53176, 9000.
Skyhawk 53176, Albuquerque approach, roger.
So as soon as he says...
Skyhawk 176, just stand by for the final controller here. We've got to get him set up on a scope. It'll be just a 2 seconds. Alright, roger that, Skyhawk 53176.
Skyhawk 53176.
53176, 9000. 53176, Albuquerque approach, roger.
53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. 53176. 9000. Okay, so not yet. So once we get to the final approach, I thought he was sending me to final approach. But once I get to final approach, then I'll go pretty sterile. Yikes! I'm nervous. I'm actually kind of nervous. Like I said, there's a there's a person that has to go into a different room in order to do this approach. So it's incredibly bizarre compared to what, normal operation. I'm gonna give you a shot of the track here, just to show you kind of where we've come from and where we're going, and the vectors that we've had. So he's vectoring me onto like essentially we're getting vectored onto an ILS. It's not correct, but just imagine an ILS. You've got your initial approach point, initial approach fix. You've got final approach points. You've got, you can visually see it on the plate. You've got the step down. You got the glide path. We're basically being told how to do that without doing that, without referencing our instruments, without
53176, turn right heading 310 and stand by on this frequency for the final controller.
Right 310 will stand by for final approach controller, Skyhawk 53176. And obviously, Brad, jump in here if I'm incorrectly explaining anything. But usually they'll say contact final approach controller. Okay. I went from sim to real life. Yeah, so I did it kind of both at the same time, which it's just the way that I did it. Yeah, Albuquerque final approach controller, Skyhawk 53176. Volume's a little bit low.
Skyhawk 176, roger, you're loud and clear. Do not acknowledge further transmissions. Positions 1-2 miles from runway, minimum descent altitude 5700. You're well right of course and correcting rapidly. Turn right heading at 300.
Right 300, Skyhawk 176.
Do not acknowledge further transmissions. Descend and maintain 7200.
I blew it already.
Turn right heading 350, descend and maintain 7000.
Up.
I blew it the first call. I blew it.
350, well right of course and correcting rapidly. Heading 350.
It's really hard to break that habit.
Right of course and correcting rapidly.
Yo, all traffic in the area, please advise.
Heading 350, right of course and correcting rapidly. Heading 350, right of course, 1-2 miles from runway.
can't believe I blew it just immediately.
Heading 350, 11 miles from runway, right of course and correcting slowly.
$7,600 for $5,700.
Heading 350, right of course and correcting slowly, 9 miles from runway.
Hey, bird, whoa, buddy.
Wiley, you are the man. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Holy crap.
Hey, bird, whoa, buddy.
Turn right heading 360, 8 miles from runway. Slightly right of course and
Hey,
correcting slowly.
bird,
Heading
whoa,
360.
buddy.
Continue right turn heading 020.
Hey, bird, whoa, buddy.
7,000. Level off. 020.
Hey, bird, whoa, buddy.
Heading 020, 7 miles from runway, slightly right of course and correcting slowly. Turn left heading 015, wind correction, heading 015.
Pull up.
Oh man, that's so weird not to reply. Isakai, thank you for following. Welcome.
Heading 015, 6 miles from runway, descend to your minimum descent altitude.
Down to 5,700. Okay, 7,000 for 5,700. I'm actually gonna get the ILS out of there. I don't even want that.
Heading 015, 5 miles from runway. After completion of the option, turn left to direct Albuquerque via Oricon to maintain 8,000. Heading 015, slightly right of course and correcting very slowly, 5 miles from runway. Turn right heading 020.
I misunderstood him.
Heading 020 on course.
That was my missed.
Heading 020 on course.
Missed approach.
Heading 020 on course, altitude should be 6520. 4 miles from runway.
Okay. 4 miles to runway.
Drifting slightly left of course, turn right heading at 025. Heading 025, 3 miles from runway, when able to report runway or approach lights and set.
That's crazy. Can't
Holding
see
slightly
him.
left of course, turn right heading 030, 2 miles from runway.
Okay, we're coming up on our altitude. NDA.
Distance 2 miles from runway, when able to report runway or approach lights and set.
Okay. Let's get, I'm gonna stop it at 5,700. There's our MDA. Let's take a
Heading
peek out here.
025, 2 miles from runway.
Runway approach lights in sight, Skyhawk 53176.
positions 1.5 miles from runway. Proceed visually, remain as frequency. Left turn, direct Albuquerque, climb and maintain 8,000, standby for approach.
500.
And that's after the option.
There's that left turn, direct Albuquerque VOR, climb and maintain 8,000, Skyhawk 53176.
Air 176, that'll be after the option.
After the option 176. Okay, so yeah, there's the, I mean, you could just, you know, we're landing. I mean, obviously I would have descended all the way. I wanted to see what it looked like being at that MDA right there. So that is, that's pretty crazy. All right, so let's fly the length of the runway here, and then we'll go direct to the VOR, which is 13.2. Is in there. Okay, there's the departure end, and let's get going. Oh man. That was awesome. Oh man, that was, let's get this thing settled down here. My God, that was cool.
Bird, whoa, buddy.
Lima Mike, thank you so much for following. Welcome.
Track 53176, Albuquerque approach, ident. Track 176, radar contact 1 mile west of Albuquerque Airport. Climb and maintain 900,000, and you want to do another approach, you said non-gyro this time?
Up to 900,000, and yes, we like to do the non-gyro approach, Skyhawk 53176.
Skyhawk 53176, roger, turn left heading 240. These will be vectors for a non-gyro surveillance approach to runway 3.
Alright, left turn at 240, vectors for non-gyro radar approach for runway 3, Skyhawk 53176. Yeah, Brad, that guy was awesome. My God. That deserves a little sip of wine. St. Wolfric, thank you. Captain Darkon. I know, I had to, Ryan, I had to turn it off. I had to turn it off just to zone in. But it'll come back on here. And going back to the sim versus reality discussion, just doing that and seeing, you know, kind of popping out from under the hood and seeing what it looks like to be at MDA at your missed approach point, to see what that looks like. You know, does it feel like you're super high? Does it feel like you have no shot? Does it, you know, what does that look like? Assuming that the clouds are going to be, you know, 100 or so feet above that, in order to, you know, kind of make it close. You know, you can kind of get a feel for, having never done it before, what it might be like. To at least get you a little bit closer to, you know, to what it might be like versus just going in there for the first time and being like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah, the non-gyro is not going to start until we get passed off to the approach controller. So, the final approach controller, and that's where it should be different. It should be different because you heard when we were getting vectored around, he's telling me turn right.
176, turn left heading 210.
left 210 Skyhawk 53176. He's not going to be able to do that because I'm not going to have a gyro. So this is where it is. This is going to be weird. Copy the brisket. You don't need to read all the advisory information back, by the way. Just heading and call sign. Yeah, no headings. It's just going to be little to the left, little to the right. So we'll see if the heading bug still works on autopilot. I'm hoping that it does. I'm still going to use that just for. I mean, you can see I'm bouncing all over the place here. The winds are not very happy right now. Yeah, no headings, just turns, turn, stop, level, stop turning. Which is very strange. We're gonna try to, Davis. Yeah, I've got the gyro failure set, so it will be failed. And we'll see. Half standard rate turns. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be how much I'm gonna be able to control that. Safer skies, ideally, but you know, it's gonna be based on the heading bug a little bit. So we'll see what it does. If I have to go off autopilot, fine. You know, it should be manageable to some degree, but I've obviously never done this before in the sim, so not really sure how the plane itself is going to react and handle it. You hated those in training, the half standard rate turns?
Staff 176, turn 5 degrees right, vector wind correction, and descend and maintain 8,000.
Down to 8,000, right 5, Skyhawk 176. Okay, I see. All right, let's go under the hood. So I apologize for the lack of scenery. Downloaded this pretty ortho, and we're not even gonna get to use it. Oh, the non-gyro approaches. Oh, got it. Okay. I'm excited for it. Coming down the mountain. This is fascinating, isn't it? Just looking at a panel. Riveting stuff right here. I like it. I'm excellent at entertaining myself. Okay, I'm not gonna go full sterile cockpit, but pretty close. What's up, eyes? I don't want to miss any of these altitudes. So this is the VOR. There's 8,000 coming up on 8,000. Let's hold that little buddy there. What's up, Neil? I've never heard of surveillance approaches. Is that what? Is that for when you have an instrument failure? Somewhat. Yeah, it's yeah. It's for the purpose of it is for military aircraft that don't have the equipment to fly civilian approaches like ILSs or VOR approach or RNAV, any of that stuff. The usefulness for general aviation pilot would be in the extremely unfortunate event that you have really both an electrical failure and a vacuum pump failure. So you've got no suction, you've got no well, I guess the electric, not really the electric system, but you know, your turn coordinator, you know, so I mean really it's the vacuum, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. This is going to be the no vacuum version of this. So once we get passed off to the final approach controller, we are going to turn off. We're going to fail the vacuum. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's a fascinating capability that some airports have, and you know, although this isn't something that you can just do on PilotEdge, this is for training purposes for a project that they're working on that they asked if I could help them out with, and fly this approach to give the controller practice for it. So it's not something that you can really train for on PilotEdge. So hopefully the demonstration.
53176, turn left, heading 120.
Left 120176.
Or 53176, and stand by on this frequency for the Albuquerque final controller. If you could do me a favor, and when you do get a hold of him, let him know that he did a very, very good job for his first time there before. That would be helpful.
I will definitely let him know. Skyhawk 53176. So yeah, once we get passed off to that final approach controller, we're gonna fail the gyro and see what happens here. Raz Wasabi, thank you very much for following. Welcome to the mess. But yeah, so I hope this video.
Final controller, how do you hear?
11 clear, Skyhawk 53176. Fantastic job on that last one. That was awesome.
Thank you, sir. You're loud and clear as well. Do not acknowledge further transmission. This will be a no gyro. Turn left.
Gyro has been
4 miles from runway. Minimum descent altitude 5700. Well left of course and correcting rapidly.
Didn't seem to fail. Okay, it didn't. Looks like it didn't fail.
Verifying a left turn, turn left. Keep that left turn in until I tell you to stop turn. Standard brake turns for now. Stop turn. left of course and correcting slowly, 13 miles from runway.
We're gonna touch and go this. I can't, as much as I love
Left of course and correcting slowly.
chatting with you guys, I can't tell you how refreshing it is to just
Descend and maintain 7,200.
to just like focus. It's pretty nice.
Turn left. Stop, turn. Right of course and correcting 11 miles from runway. Slightly left of course and correcting 11 miles from runway. Slightly left of course and correcting slowly 7 miles from runway. Slightly left of course and correcting slowly 9 miles from runway.
Maximum focus.
Make half standard rate turns. Slightly left of course and correcting 8 miles from runway. Slightly left of course and correcting very slowly 7 miles from runway.
Spoke scan going. 7,200. NDA is 5,700. We're taking this home away.
6 miles from runway, descend to your minimum descent altitude. Slightly left of course and correcting slowly.
So 7,200 down to 5,700. We obviously can select a higher minimum apparently, but we're going to go down to 5,700. That is the minimum.
Turn right. Drifting slightly left of course and hold it. Stop, turn.
$6,900 for 5,700. Descent. 700 feet per minute descent.
Turn left on course. Turn left. Stop, turn. On course 4 miles from runway.
4 miles out. 6,600 for 5,700. 5,000 feet from our NDA.
On course 4 miles from runway. Correction, 3 miles from runway.
3 miles. Okay, we're getting closer. Okay, let's do fuels on both. Mixture, cutoff is in. Mixture is set. Power is set. We're going to give it a little bit extra push there. Lights are coming on. Masters, mags are set. 6,200 for 5,700.
On course altitude should be 5940.
5940. It is not. Got the right altimeter in there.
2 miles from runway on course. When we're report runway or approach lights inside.
Okay, we're gonna bring it down to our minimums here.
Runway 3, wind 290 at 16, clear to the option. 1 mile from runway. We're on course.
That's good. Runway in sight, Skyhawk 176.
Skyhawk 176, decision, just 1/2 mile from runway, proceed position, contact tower after landing it in.
Oh my god. How cool was that? I mean, we kind of have to dive bomb it a little bit. I probably could have looked up earlier, but that was, I mean, obviously I could have looked up earlier because of the weather, and now it's the rep pack, so we're going to float all the way down to the runway. Good lord. Seriously. It's just gonna keep coming. Alright, I'll take acceptable. Whew.
Air 176, connect tower, we'll see you.
Alright, tower 176, see ya. Dude. That was so awesome. Albuquerque Tower, Skyhawk 53176, direct Albuquerque VOR.
Skyhawk 53176, Albuquerque Tower, roger. Same intentions?
I would like to head back to our point of origin, 1 November 1, Skyhawk 53176.
Skyhawk 53176, roger. Contact Albuquerque, departure on 123.9er.
123.9er, Skyhawk 176. 123. Albuquerque approach, Skyhawk 53176, 6,300, direct Albuquerque VOR.
Skyhawk 53176, Albuquerque, departure identified.
Hello. My stream setup, I just decided...
176, better contact 1 mile west Albuquerque, VOR, maintain VFR, and you can resume on navigation.
Alright, resuming ONAV, Skyhawk 53176. Are we okay to reverse course and overfly the airport?
Correction, Skyhawk 176, affirmative.
Roger, 176. That was awesome. And now we're right towards our little freeway corridor there. Oh man. How cool was that? All right, Brad, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the help. That was excellent fun. God, that was awesome. Now I really can't wait to do that in real life. Holy crap. Let's get Chatbot back, because that absolutely deserves a holy S. I'll get you again. DDP might be timed out on that. Chatbot is coming. No?
Holy S, dude.
Contact NorCal departure.
Over departure, good day, 819.
Dude, we're hauling ass right now. We're doing 140 over the ground. So that's what we were dealing with. Brandon, dude, that was fantastic, man. Thank you so much. I was just about to say something on frequency to you, but obviously you are not on the scope anymore. But dude, that was fantastic. So fun. Excellent work. That guy was awesome. That was really cool. Oh, that was too fun. That was too fun. All right, let's head back. What is this place called? Sandia East. Let's park this thing back to where we almost crashed it. So what'd you guys think? He has a few years under his belt doing them. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know like how much you were able to listen, but like just the very first thing that he said after "don't respond after this," I of course responded to. So that's awesome. But
American 990 contact.
That was that's pretty satisfying thing to be able to, it's like you're both working together, and then pop your head up and sure enough there's a freaking runway. It's like, do not respond to any further transmission. Descend to 7,000. Descending 7,000, 176. Thank you for watching, Bronze.
American 990
awesome.
Albuquerque Center, thank you. Good evening. Climb and maintain flight level 280.
Now let's hope we don't box
Tower
yourself into a
335,
canyon
Reno
here.
ground, push on to Alpha approved. Expect runway 34 left.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Pushing Alpha approved, 34 left, Tower 335, thanks.
I think the.
Air 176 report when you have destination airport in sight.
Oh, we'll let you know when you got the airport in sight. Skyhawk 53176. It's. I don't know what it came off as, but when you understand the point of it going into it and understand or anticipate what you're going to be getting, it really is not that difficult because you're just following instructions. I think what the biggest difficulty with it will probably be in the real world is maintaining everything in terms of controlling the plane. The actual instructions and keep your eye on the altitude. You know what your MDA is, and you just keep coming down until you've got the airport in sight. Obviously, we had the weather was helping us, so we weren't stuck in VM or IMC, which definitely helps. But even still, waiting until that last moment, you can see that last one we were, at the MDA at the threshold, which is that missed approach point. So as long as you see the airport before then, you're cleared to go down. Given the plane and the runway, we obviously made it work somewhat, but it'll just depend how far out you want to get to that MDA before you're having to go missed. Oh man, that was some focusing that needed to be done. Oh my god, but very fun. It would be kind of nice. As much as I love the sound of my own voice, it would be nice to.
Runner 8819, Roger. When able, clear direct. Stay bed.
Just have the stream up and not say anything. There's a bit of it's nice. It's nice. Should be coming in sight pretty soon here. Yeah, that looks like right there. Albuquerque approach, Skyhawk 53176. We've got the airport in sight. Did we lose her? Albuquerque approach, Skyhawk 53176, airport in sight.
53176, thank you. Radar services are terminated. Squawk V5, frequency change approved.
VFR, frequency change approved, Skyhawk 176, see it. Bye. Alright, now let's see.
Ground power 35 is ready to taxi with the member.
See if we can actually
Tower 335, runway.
put this thing down. Sandia East traffic, Skyhawk 53176, 8,800. Left downwind, right downwind, runway 27, Sandia. Oh, I lost it. That should be right there. That was super fun. We're definitely landing runway 27 this time. We're not going to have a 15 knot tailwind trying to land. We will never get to the ground. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. That was super fun for me. If you are new, this is a good time to plug the Discord server. If you have Discord, it'd be awesome if you could join us. That Discord server has helped so much during quarantine time. Good Lord. It's so nice to have all of you guys to talk to at any point of the day. Alright, so there's our little podunk airport there. Like, look at this. What is out here, man? What is out? I mean, this is like straight up Breaking Bad, Walter White stuff. I don't know the intricacies of Twitch. Was gifted a sub. Enlighten me. Had to wait until you were out of all that. Thank you, Tyler, for just a man and his 172. Just floating around, getting knocked around by this wind. I can't wait to get out of this wind. So yeah, Tyler. So in there's certain perks for subscribing. You get access to the emotes, which is that little smiley face next to the chat. So you can use those. And certain people, might have different different perks. and one of mine is San Diego traffic, Skyhawk, left base to final, full stop, San Diego. Is the audio stuff. I was drinking. Yeah, so like if you scroll down, you can see all those little audio cues. So if you type exclamation point and then whatever, you know, the cue is after that, it'll play a little sound effect. They are on cooldown timers, just so
short final runway 27.
Just so they're not abused, but they're very generous timers. Sometimes they do get a little abused. Oh man, this is going to be impossible to keep this thing on the runway. This is a skinny little fricker. God, that sounds awesome. Whoops. This is a long runway for how skinny it is. Yeah, this thing's impossible to control on the ground unless you're going like 5 knots. I wonder if this is like a little community field or something with like personal hangars. That'd be kind of cool. And we are back. See, something fell underneath my rudder pedal. Awesome. All right, we're gonna shut down this beast right here. Awesome.